Okay.
Okay.
Then I'll just monitor on Facebook.
So we are live now.
People can see us?
Yes.
All right. Welcome, everyone. We're here on Facebook. We're waiting for a few minutes. I'm here with Monsieur Francois Marie Patorni, and we will start when the folks from YouTube come online. Thank you for your patience.
So we have 16 people on right now, Ben.
Okay.
And,
welcome, folks.
Yeah.
We are waiting for the other broadcasts to complete, and they will be on momentarily. And when they join us, we will start the Q&A.
I'll chime in here, Ben. I don't know if you see the chat there to the right, but Catherine Friday has posted a message thanking you, Francois Marie, for the informative presentation. She's been here for 25 years. And she learned a lot, too.
So what should I do? I see go ahead and start from on the chat.
We'll just stand by.
Okay.
Till Chris gives us the nod to start.
I think you're good to go.
Now, Kathleen is your Kathleen, right?
No.
Yeah, we're looking at it from StreamYard. I don't see the yeah.
So yeah, those chats. Joanne Fisher has made a comment. I don't know if you can see that, Francois Marie.
Yeah, I see
the Francophile. Yeah.
No, I see the comment. I am on private chat.
I'll go to
comments.
Go to comments.
Ah, comments.
There we are.
Hey, oh wow, okay.
Yep. Thanks. We've got a minute and a half before I don't know why that's on. So, Chris, are we live on on Facebook at this point?
Yes, we're live.
All right.
Oh, we have our first question that just came in, Francois Marie.
Okay. All right. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for finding us here on Facebook. I appreciate that. This is Ben Woodbury again, and I'm here with our presenter for today, Monsieur Patorni. And we will be happy to take your questions at this time. And Chris, we have a question. Yes.
Yes, we do. This question is from Kat Romero. She thanks you, Francois Marie, for the excellent talk. Says apologies if this was covered at the beginning. But do you know anything about the life of Francois Jean Rochat, a member of a brotherhood of French woodworkers, and said by some to have built the staircase in the Loretto Chapel? He was murdered in his cabin in Dog Canyon.
Yes, but you have to give me another hour online. I have a couple of pages in my book. Yes, there is a lot about written about it, a lot of research. Some is controversial, but indeed, he is probably the person who built the famous so-called miraculous staircase on the Loreto Chapel. But there are some people who dispute it. There is not absolute proof, but it's very likely, yes. And he was murdered in Dog Canyon. It was because of disputes on land and water rights. And there is a whole report, I think, by the National Park Service about the cabin. They found the cabin, the ruins, and the stuff he was selling to Native Americans. A lot of history, but Catherine can get in touch with me directly, and I'll share whatever I have.
Right. And Francois, your email is on your webpage, isn't that correct?
It's on the webpage, yes.
Yeah, FrenchinNewMexico.com.
Yes.
And can you see the next question? Catherine Friday asks, what is the French population in New Mexico today?
Yeah, it's not really known because there are many French people who don't register to the French consulate. There are about 340 people registered to vote in the French elections, but the consul thinks there are about 1,000 in total. We don't know the exact number, so it could be up to 1,000, but not much more.
And there's a question from Ron Garcia. Which fur trapper Ledoux brothers settled in the Mora area? There's a village there named Ledoux.
Yeah, they were the two brothers. Well, yeah, I know about descendants of the Ledoux. Actually, in my talk, I mentioned the family reunion. They get together. I don't know if they did it this year. They get together in a picnic in July. And I was a few years ago invited. It was in the little lake near Las Vegas. And there were about 100 people. And if you write to me, I can give you the main Ledoux contact who is in touch with practically everybody in the family. I have a couple in my Facebook friends list too, but there are lots of them, at least 100 cousins of yours.
And Rachel Allard Gowan is joining us on the phone, she says. I do not know where Jean-Baptiste Dallaire came from. He was called the Frenchman, and while everyone believes he came from France,
I have to. I have to check it out. It's difficult to remember offhand, but he's very well. He's well known. He was called Jean-Baptiste Dallaire, and he came from. I could look in my book, but get in touch with me or look in the book. But yeah, his life is pretty well documented. Yes. Let's see. I read the question. The UNM say his brother signed property over to a sister in Quebec. I don't know. It's possible, but yeah, he came from France. Yes. Yes.
And you see the question there from Lori Tabino. Thank you for doing the presentation. If you found anything, have you found anything new about Pierre L'Espérance?
About I cannot hear you well. Which question is it on the
it's
question?
A question from Lori Tabino. Lori Tabino is at the bottom.
At the bottom. Oh, Lori. Okay. Yes, I do. I don't know it by heart, but I think there is a whole book, and I can send you the contacts of the descendants. I am in touch with a few descendants of L'Espérance family, so I can put you in touch. Actually, some of my most exciting experiences were to reunite families. I had last year an email from two women in their late 80s. And they said, thank you so much. I found my cousin. I did not know her. And then they met each other. They did not know each other, but they met through my website when they researched for their ancestors. So if you write to me, I'll give you all what I have on L'Espérance. Yes.
And there's another question that just came in below that from Kat Romero.
Yeah,
the Labadie family.
Ah, did the family speak French with each other? I was not there. I don't know. I don't know. I suspect they would speak Spanish, but I don't really know. It's a long time ago. Let me look.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, Ron Garcia wrote about the Ledoux and Mora. There is a lot going on in Mora at the moment because the old mill, the flour mill, built by Seren Saint-Vrain, is being renovated, and you can find it on the internet or whatever. It's a beautiful stone building, which was starting to fall in disrepair, and it's in Mora, just by the river. And is being totally renovated. So it's a great place to go and look at.
I think, Ben, if you have some questions.
Yeah, we'll just wait and see if there are any other questions out there, and we'll address those momentarily. In the meantime, Francois Marie, you and I had been talking a bit beforehand, and I was curious to know who your, if you might comment on the French women who were early settlers or early contributors to the history of New Mexico, and perhaps you have a nice story relating to that.
Yeah. Well, as you know, there were very few women because most of these explorers or settlers were young men, and they would marry locally with Hispanic women or Native American. So we don't have many French women. Well, one I like very much, but it's a kind of a joke, is Mary Lambert. She was married to a Frenchman, and she's the ghost, which is supposed to appear in the St. James Hotel, but I could not meet her on that night. But I would like to say a word for the nuns, you know, the religious nuns who work tirelessly. And I try to have, in my book, to have more about them. All these women, you know, the Loreto nuns and all that, who were really helping people. But in those days, women were not really recognized, so they go nameless through history. So we know the famous one, you know, like the niece of Bishop Lamy, who became the Mother Teresa. But these other nuns, I would like to pay tribute to them because they were very dedicated, very hardworking. But we don't know their names. I met the descendants of one of them. She was nicknamed well, she was not a nun, so it's wrong, but she was a little teacher on horseback. She would travel for like 100 miles in the Socorro area to teach to the Native Americans, and they would actually protect her during her trip on a mule to the other village. So I don't have any French women to name, but I would pay tribute to the nuns who have fallen into oblivion.
Thank you very much. Well, we're approaching the end of our time here for the Q&A. Francois Marie, are there any closing remarks you'd like to make? Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, no, sorry. Just a couple more questions have come in real quick.
Oh, okay.
So Ron Garcia was asking which of the Ledoux brothers settled in Mora. Was it a particular one or all of them?
I don't remember. I don't remember which Ledoux, or if it's one or both. But there's so many Ledouxs, at least in Taos. I could find out, But I can connect you to the Ledoux family, and you get to know them all practically. So in part one, I would like to say, go to my website, the frenchinewmexico.com, and there you can have more about these stories. But you can get in touch with me. I have a lot of information given to me by descendants and others on the families. And if I have something, I just email it to you. I just copy my notes and send them to you. And connect you also. I can connect you to the descendants I have been in touch with. And there are about 300 of them.
There's a question from about Etienne de Gorge. Amy Anderson is saying that Etienne was her great-great-grandfather, and is de Gorge Street in Taos named after him? Do you know?
Yeah, he was. I think he was the mayor of Taos. So what was the question?
Oh yeah, if the street is named for him, and why? But if he was the mayor, that makes sense.
Yeah, well, it was named because he was a well-known and respected person. Yeah.
So, Francois Marie, there are a few comments from people on the chat room, which you'll be able to see.
Yes,
all very beneficial. But I think we should end with the question by Karen Crumblis. She mentioned we saw a beautiful small French Gothic church standing alone in La Cueva. And
yes.
She was wondering if you knew any of the history on that.
Is it? There are so many. I would have to see the picture or check exactly, because there have been whole books written on the small churches in New Mexico. I have to look it up. And the priests, the Catholic priests, were very busy building churches, building schools, and renovating churches. So it's probably one of those. Actually, they would renovate churches by putting steeples on them, you know, little hats in the European style. And these, you know, look that good actually. But these were later removed to be more style befitting New Mexico. So I have to, if Karen, if you can write to me things, I can look it up. Yes.
So, Francois Marie, I want to thank you on behalf of the New Mexico History Museum, the Friends of History, and all those who were able to participate with us live today. It's been most informative, and clearly there remains considerable interest in the French here as a consequence, French in New Mexico and in their genealogies. So I do want to thank you on that. I want to remind people once more that if you wish to be in contact with our speaker, you can go on the webpage at frenchinewmexico.com, and there's additional information there. There's an opportunity to purchase his book if you wish, and also his email is there in terms of any follow-on questions which you might have. Finally, I wanted to mention briefly to you all that next month, on October 7th, Dr. Richard Meltzer, Emeritus Professor of History from UNM at Valencia, will be speaking on Ernie Pyle. Same time, same place. And we look forward to your participation at that time. Please share with friends and acquaintances as you see fit. Again, thank you to all. Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Kathleen, for helping us behind the scenes. It's been a most informative and enjoyable day.
Thank you, Ben, and thank you, everybody, for coming here today. Thank you, Ben, and everybody.
Have a good day.